You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. And be sure to smash that like button. We all genuflect at a purple and gold altar in this state. Whether you care about LSU football or not, the reality is that's the reality. Everything in the fall centers around that schedule. When LSU plays, when they kick off, that's how people plan childbirth and weddings and all different types of things. So we all need to know when LSU is going to play football. We learned already that LSU and Clemson are going to kick off on August 30th, primetime ABC. So that's a night game. Well, it's a road game, but still a night game. And on a Thursday, ESPN and the SEC Network revealed 3 weeks of games. The first 3 weeks, all of the kickoff times and television networks for the first 3 weeks. So now we know the kick times and network for LSU against Louisiana Tech and LSU against Florida. And you will all be very thrilled to know that both games against Louisiana Tech and Florida will kick off at 6:30 p.m. in Tiger Stadium. The game against Louisiana Tech, the home opener, will be on ESPN Plus and SEC Network Plus. It'll be stream only, which is a little odd, candidly. I would think that LSU and Louisiana Tech would garner a terrestrial network. And then Florida, the Florida game, will be on ABC at 6:30 p.m. Remember, as we previously learned, that is the game where LSU is going to retire Charles Alexander's jersey. So there's going to be a lot going on that week, and should be really exciting. Florida coming in. I mean, September is early for Florida to be here, but it's still a very exciting time, and good to learn that there's going to be a couple of more night games in Tiger Stadium. And I want to remind you, a couple of weeks ago, I was in Chicago at Barrett Sports Media, and I had the chance to ask Burke Magnus from ESPN, who, if you're not familiar, that's okay. Burke is, I'll oversimplify it. Burke is the guy who decides what games go on what networks at what time. Basically takes all the programming, the live sports programming that ESPN has, and he determines what goes on what network at what time. And naturally, I had this opportunity with this guy sitting there to ask a question in this forum. And so I asked him about LSU wanting to play night games and how they go about deciding that. And I want the cut about the night games. So this is kind of what and by the way, he gave about a full 3.5 minute answer. It was very thoughtful and thorough, and I appreciate it very much. But this was the part about LSU and night games.
What we sold the SEC on is, hey, we're going to have 3 windows most weeks on ABC plus primetime on ESPN, and we're not going to approach it the way CBS did. Like, the number one game is not necessarily at 3:30. And by the way, the SEC is so deep that you can't really distinguish between the number 1 game and the number 2 game or even the number 3 game. So we're much more focused on what works for local fan bases. Not every single time, because it would be impossible, but we know that LSU wants to play at night, and they're going to get the preponderance of that.
So I mentioned that it's a little surprising that LSU and Tech is on Plus, right? So they're not on a linear network, meaning, cable channel or an over-the-air channel. They're on streaming only against Louisiana Tech. But this is the trade. You could play early in the day and be on one of the linear networks. For example, at 11:45 Central on September the 6th, Utah State plays Texas A&M on the SEC Network. I think we'd all agree LSU Louisiana Tech is a better game than A&M Utah State. But look at the night slate. You've got the night slate that's on the linear networks. Michigan at Oklahoma. That's on ABC. You're not bumping them. Arizona State at Mississippi State. Power matchup, including a playoff team. They're on ESPN2. Ball State at Auburn is on ESPNU. That's the one you could put a star next to. And ULM is at Alabama on the SEC Network. So here's the trade that I would tell you. If I told you you could play that game against Tech at 6:30, but 6:30 p.m. in Tiger Stadium, but it's stream only. Or you could play at 11, 2:30, 3, whatever, and be on a linear TV network, what would you pick? I think the answer is obvious, right? I don't think there's anybody here who would say, give me 11 a.m. Now, there's some people who just like to go night-night a little early. You don't want to be up late, and I get that. But I'm just talking about for what we as fans covet, it's less about what network the game is on. ABC, ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN Plus. Like, we're going to find the game. Like, you got an old parent, a grandparent that doesn't know how the damn Roku works or the YouTube TV. It doesn't matter. Like, someone will help them out before the week starts and show them how to do it. And they'll watch the game. Like, of course, you just want the game at night. We've all become accustomed now. I remember, this is so interesting, too, that the timing of this, because I remember whenever ESPN started carrying all of the regional games, like across the whole country, it moved away from the local networks, the local production companies carrying regional games. For years, Ronnie Rance, his Jumbo Sports Network, for those who remember, JSN, would air the regional games. They'd buy the rights as a contractor. They'd pay for the rights. They'd air the games. They'd sell the advertising. All that stuff would air on a local channel. Well, when ESPN came in and started airing all this, so many of the games moved to stream. And 10 years ago, whatever, maybe about 10, 11, 12 years ago, whatever that was, and all the games, a lot of the games went to stream. People melted because, I mean, we've all become accustomed to that now. But a decade ago, that wasn't the case. A year ago, like, it's a constant evolution as we're all learning OTT, over-the-top television, streaming. But that wasn't the case 10, 12 years ago. So people melted. And the whole thing was you'd rather have every single game available to stream than not have every single game available to watch. So for a little bit of inconvenience of where the game's going to be, you get the massive convenience of a kickoff time that you want in Tiger Stadium, or in baseball, having the option to watch literally every single game. It wasn't always that way, where you could watch a Tuesday night game against McNeese. Now you can. So, a net positive. And I think we're going to see a schedule where, look, last year LSU played one-day game. It was the UCLA game. And I think they probably learned their lesson with people falling out as hot as it was in September. I'm not saying there won't be any day games in Tiger Stadium, but, I mean, you've cleared a couple of hurdles already. And when you look late in the season, like when Western Kentucky comes in here, that's a garbage weekend that everyone loads up with awful games before their rivalries. And they've shown, look, you can load that thing up on a streaming platform and put it at night. That's what LSU wants. And the guy in charge of all this said, I'm very well aware LSU wants to play at night. We do our best to accommodate the local markets. And actions speak louder than words. Well, here you go. LSU's playing Tech at 6:30. It's going to be stream only. Could have put it on TV. Look, South Florida's playing Florida at 3:15 on the SEC Network. Could have been there. Rather be at night? Okay. Put you on stream. Utah State against Texas A&M, SEC Network. San Jose State at Texas, 11:45 Central. No, forgive me, 11 a.m. Central. San Jose State at Texas. That's going to be on ABC or ESPN. LSU Tech could have been there, but you played 11 a.m. You don't want that? Fine. You're going to be on a stream. I'm here for it, man. I think most of you would agree. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.